Today is Tuesday, April the 14th. We are doing a math lesson. Let's start with our Panther Pledge. Ready, read. I am a Collinsville Panther. I am kind. I am safe. I am cooperative. I am respectful. I am going to make good choices so I can be proud of myself. I am at school to learn. I'm going to have a great day. No excuses. All right, so let's look at our learning targets for today. The first one is I can understand tenths and hundreds, and I believe that we can already do this because we were doing fractions before we left school. So remember, tenths, when it has THS at the end, it's talking about fractions where the denominator is 10. And hundredths with THS at the end is talking about fractions with a denominator of 100. So this would be something divided into 10 pieces. This would be something cut up into 100 pieces. I can read decimals. Decimals represent the same thing that fractions represent. It's a number less than 1. It's just a different way to write it. I'm going to go back to this one in a minute. See, I can use models to compare two decimals in tenths and hundredths using greater than, less than, or equal symbols. We've already done this in fractions. We have figured out which fraction was more, which fraction was smaller, if they were equal. We've already done that. We're doing the same thing we've already done, except instead of calling it fractions, we're calling it decimals. So that's what we're doing today. So let's review our fractions. If we have, let's draw a square pizza. So let's just pretend, let's put that in. Okay, the whole piece is there. But if we took that pizza and we cut it in half, so that piece is gone, we only have one piece left, then we only have 1/2 of the pizza. If we had a pizza, we cut it into 2 pieces. Let's just say we have 2 pieces, but somebody took away that 3rd piece. Then we have 2/3 of the pizza. So I hope that's jogging your memory a little bit. Let's work with tenths, because that's what our learning target says that we need to do. So let's have a square with 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just pretend they're equal. Okay, so we have a shape with 10 pieces. Let's say we shade in 2. Okay, that's 2/10. If we shade in 3, that would be 3/10 or 4/10. We could keep going. And then we can even cut a piece into hundredths. Now, this is going to be kind of difficult with me recording. But so we'll need 10 going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 10 going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need one more. 10. Okay, so if we have 100 pieces, our denominator now is 100. We can color in 10 of those pieces. So now what is our fraction? 10 out of 100, so 10 hundredths. So our learning target says we need to understand tenths and 100ths, and I believe that you already do. So now let's take a minute. I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this over here. Let's take a minute, and I want you to think about the very beginning of school when we talked about place value. So if we had a number like this, I told you that each number had a value. So we had to label that this was the ones place. The 7 was in the ones place. Y'all remember that? And then what would come next? The tens place. What would come next? The hundreds place. What would come next? The thousands place. What would come next? The 10,000ths place. What would come next? The 100,000 place. And then what would come next? Millions. Y'all remember when we did that? Okay, so then what happens if the number is less than 1? Well, we can either write it as a fraction. So we can say we have 1,234,567 and 4 tenths of something. Or we can say we have 1,234,567. We put a dot. So before we did commas after every third number. Now, since we're talking about something that is less than 1, we put what we call a decimal. And all that is just a dot. And now we're going to work this way. All of the numbers that come after the dot represent a fraction, a number that is less than 1. So, this spot that comes after the decimal point, whatever number we put here, we call that the tenths place. Okay? Now, you might think to yourself, no, wait a minute, we already had a tens place. No, I didn't say tens, I said tenths. So it has that TH at the end. So that represents a fraction. So we can put a 4 right here, and that is 4 tenths, which is the same thing as the fraction 4 tenths. So we can write it like this, or we can write it like that, and that's a decimal.